2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS. Part 1 to 100 Civics questions with answers. How many questions did you answer correctly? Comment your score below. The air in the conference room is thick with focus. The only sounds are the quiet hum of the overhead lights and the soft rustle of papers. Anne sits across from Mark, who's flipping through his study materials nervously. It's time for their first round of U.S. citizenship civics questions. Anne smiles reassuringly, ready to help him prepare.
All right, Mark, we're going to start with the first 15 questions. I'll ask each question, provide 3 answer choices, and you pick the one you think is correct. After you make your choice, I'll explain why. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Great, let's begin. Question 1. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? A. Freed the slaves. B. Declared war on Britain. C. Created the U.S. government.
I think the answer is A. Freed the slaves.
That's correct. The Emancipation Proclamation, issued by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863, declared that all slaves in Confederate states were to be set free. This was a significant step in the abolition of slavery and helped shift the course of the Civil War, making the fight against slavery a key goal of the Union. Question 2. What does the judicial branch do? A. Makes laws. B. Reviews laws. C. Enforces laws.
I think the answer is B. Reviews laws.
Exactly. The judicial branch is responsible for interpreting and applying laws. Courts in the judicial branch, including the Supreme Court, review laws to ensure they are constitutional. They also resolve disputes and interpret the meaning of laws when necessary. Question 3. When do we celebrate Independence Day? A. July 4th. B. September 11th. C. November 11th.
I think the answer is A. July 4th.
That's right. Independence Day is celebrated on July 4th, the anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. On this day, the American colonies declared their independence from Britain, marking the birth of the United States. Question 4. We elect a president for how many years? A. 4 years. B. 6 years. C. 8 years.
I think the answer is A. 4 years.
Correct. The President of the United States is elected to serve a 4-year term. The President can run for re-election, but can only serve a maximum of 2 terms, totaling 8 years in office. Question 5. What do we call the first 10 amendments of the Constitution? A. The Articles of Confederation. B. The Bill of Rights. C. The Preamble.
I think the answer is B. The Bill of Rights.
Exactly. The Bill of Rights refers to the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. These amendments were added to ensure the protection of individual liberties, such as freedom of speech, religion, and the right to a fair trial. They form a cornerstone of American democracy. Question 6. What is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen? A. To be loyal to the United States. B. To serve in the military. C. To speak English.
I think the answer is A. To be loyal to the United States.
That's right. One of the promises new citizens make is to be loyal to the United States. This includes pledging allegiance to the country and supporting its constitution and laws. It's a key part of becoming an American citizen. Question 7. What did Martin Luther King Jr. do? A. Founded the United Nations. B. Fought for civil rights. C. Wrote the Declaration of Independence.
I think the answer is B. Fought for civil rights.
Correct. Martin Luther King Jr. was a central figure in the American civil rights movement. He fought against racial segregation and discrimination, advocating for equality using peaceful protests and nonviolent resistance. His leadership was instrumental in the passing of important civil rights legislation. Question 8. Who vetoes bills? A. The President. B. Congress. C. The Supreme Court.
I think the answer is A. The President.
Exactly. The President has the power to veto bills passed by Congress. This means the President can reject a bill, sending it back to Congress. However, Congress can override a veto with a 2/3 majority in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Question 9. Who was president during World War I? A. Woodrow Wilson. B. Franklin D. Roosevelt. C. Theodore Roosevelt.
I think the answer is A. Woodrow Wilson.
That's right. Woodrow Wilson was the president during World War I. He led the country through the war and later proposed the League of Nations, an international organization aimed at ensuring global peace. His leadership was pivotal during this challenging time in history. Question 10. Who is in charge of the executive branch? A. The President. B. The Speaker of the House. C. The Senate.
I think the answer is A. The President.
Correct. The President heads the executive branch, which is responsible for enforcing laws and overseeing the federal administration. The executive branch also includes the Vice President and the President's cabinet members. Question 11. Who makes federal laws? A. Congress. B. The President. C. The Supreme Court.
I think the answer is A. Congress.
Exactly. Congress is responsible for making federal laws. It consists of 2 chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives. After a bill is passed by Congress, it is sent to the President for approval or veto. Question 12. When must all men register for the Selective Service? A. 18 years and older. B. 21 years and older. C. 16 years and older.
I think the answer is A. 18 years and older.
Correct. All men between the ages of 18 and 25 are required to register for the Selective Service. This is a system that allows the government to quickly draft men into military service in case of a national emergency. Question 13. When is the last day you can send in federal income tax forms? A. March 15th. B. April 15th. C. May 15th.
I think the answer is B. April 15th.
Exactly. The deadline for submitting federal income tax forms is typically April 15th each year. If this date falls on a weekend or holiday, the deadline is usually extended to the next business day. Question 14. What are two cabinet-level positions? A. The Attorney General and the Vice President. B. The President and the Governor. C. The Secretary of State and the Mayor.
I think the answer is A. The Attorney General and the Vice President.
Correct. The Attorney General is the head of the Department of Justice, and the Vice President is the second highest officer in the executive branch. Both are important cabinet-level positions that help advise the President on key issues. Question 15. What are two rights in the Declaration of Independence? A. Life and liberty. B. Freedom of speech and the press. C. The right to a trial by jury.
I think the answer is A. Life and liberty.
Correct. The Declaration of Independence lists life and liberty as two of the unalienable rights that every individual is entitled to. These rights are fundamental to the American concept of freedom and are central to the country's identity. Well done, Mark. You answered all 15 questions correctly. Keep practicing, and you'll be fully prepared for your test.
Thanks, Anne. I'm feeling a lot more confident now. Let's go over the next set of questions soon.
Anne smiles, pleased with the progress they've made as they prepare for the next round of questions. 2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS, Part 2 to 100 Civics Questions, History and Government. Tag a friend in the comments who needs to study for the USCIS test. The atmosphere in the conference room remains calm, but the focus is intense. The stack of study materials has dwindled, leaving just a few questions left to go. Mark, having answered the first set of questions with ease, is now feeling more confident but still slightly anxious. Anne, sitting across from him, is ready to keep the momentum going. The clock ticks steadily as the session continues.
All right, Mark, let's move on to the next set of questions. We're getting closer now. Just stay focused and you'll be ready for the test.
Got it. I'm ready.
Great, let's get started. Question 16. What is the supreme law of the land? A. The Constitution. B. The Declaration of Independence. C. The Bill of Rights.
I think the answer is A. The Constitution.
Correct. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It establishes the structure of the government, protects individual rights, and serves as the ultimate legal authority in the United States. Every law must align with the principles set forth in the Constitution. Question 17. What is freedom of religion? A. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion. B. You must practice a religion. C. You can only practice Christianity.
I think the answer is A. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion.
Exactly. Freedom of religion is one of the most fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. It ensures that individuals have the right to worship as they choose or not at all without government interference. Question 18. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. A. Citizens can vote. B. Only landowners can vote. C. Only white men can vote.
I think the answer is A. Citizens can vote.
That's correct. The Constitution has been amended several times to expand voting rights. One of the amendments ensures that all U.S. citizens, regardless of race, gender, or social class, have the right to vote. This is a key part of American democracy. Question 19. Name one state that borders Mexico. A. California. B. Oregon. C. Maine.
I think the answer is A. California.
Correct. California borders Mexico to the west. Other states that share a border with Mexico include Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. This geographic connection has influenced cultural and economic ties between the U.S. and Mexico. Question 20. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. A. The Civil War. B. The Korean War. C. World War I.
I think the answer is A. The Civil War.
That's right. The Civil War was fought between the North Union and the South Confederacy from 1861 to 1865. It was a turning point in U.S. history, primarily fought over slavery and states' rights, and led to the abolition of slavery in the United States. Question 21. What is the name of the Vice President of the United States now? A. J.D. Vance. B. Kamala Harris. C. Mike Pence.
I think the answer is A. J.D. Vance.
Actually, the correct answer is A. J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is the current Vice President of the United States, having taken office in 2025. Question 22. Name the U.S. war between the North and the South. A. The Civil War. B. World War II. C. The Vietnam War.
I think the answer is A. The Civil War.
Correct. The Civil War was fought between the Northern States Union and the Southern States Confederacy, primarily over the issues of slavery and states' rights. It ended in 1865 with the defeat of the Confederacy and the abolition of slavery. Question 23. What are 2 ways that Americans can participate in their democracy? A. Voting and running for office. B. Watching TV and attending rallies. C. Writing letters and making speeches.
I think the answer is A. Voting and running for office.
Exactly. Voting in elections is one of the most fundamental ways Americans participate in their democracy. Running for office allows individuals to represent their communities and contribute directly to the political process. Question 24. Name one right only for United States citizens. A. Citizens can vote in a federal election. B. Non-citizens can vote in state elections. C. Citizens can live in any state.
I think the answer is A. Citizens can vote in a federal election.
Correct. Voting in federal elections is one of the rights exclusive to U.S. citizens, while non-citizens may be allowed to vote in certain local or state elections. Only citizens can vote in presidential and congressional elections. Question 25. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? A. Thomas Jefferson. B. John Adams. C. George Washington.
I think the answer is A. Thomas Jefferson.
That's right. Thomas Jefferson was the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, which was adopted on July 4, 1776. It outlined the colony's reasons for seeking independence from Britain and laid the foundation for the creation of the United States. Question 26. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? A. The United States. B. The American flag. C. The President.
I think the answer is A. The United States.
Correct. The Pledge of Allegiance is a vow of loyalty to the United States. It is a symbol of national unity and pride, reflecting the American values of liberty, justice, and freedom. Question 27. What is the political party of the president now? A. Republican. B. Democratic. C. Independent.
I think the answer is A. Republican.
That's right. The current president, as of this moment, is a member of the Republican Party. The political party of the president can influence policies and governance, and the president's party often sets the tone for national leadership. Question 28. What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress? A. The Senate and the House of Representatives. B. The House of Lords and the Senate. C. The Senate and the Federal Court.
I think the answer is A. The Senate and the House of Representatives.
Correct. The U.S. Congress consists of two parts, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate has 100 members, while the House has 435, and both work together to create and pass laws. Question 29. Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? A. Franklin Roosevelt. B. Harry Truman. C. John F. Kennedy.
I think the answer is A. Franklin Roosevelt.
That's right. Franklin D. Roosevelt served as president during the Great Depression and World War II. His New Deal programs helped the country recover from the Depression, and his leadership during the war was crucial to the Allied victory. Question 30. Why do some states have more representatives than other states? A. Because they have more people. B. Because they are larger in size. C. Because they have more money.
I think the answer is A. Because they have more people.
Correct. States with larger populations are allocated more representatives in the House of Representatives. The number of representatives each state has is determined by its population, ensuring fair representation for all citizens. Well done, Mark. You've made great progress. Just a few more sets to go.
Thanks, Anne. I feel like I'm getting the hang of this. Let's move on to the next part.
Anne smiles, happy to see Mark's confidence grow as they continue preparing for his test. 2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS, Part 3 to 100 Civics Questions, Rights and Responsibilities. Need more practice? Click this video to test yourself with real USCIS questions. The conference room feels quieter now, the intensity of the study session settling into a rhythm. Mark has already answered a lot of questions correctly, but Anne knows there's still a bit more work to do. The stack of questions left is smaller now, and Mark's confidence is growing with each passing answer. He takes a deep breath as Anne flips to the next set of questions, ready to dive back in.
All right, Mark, we're on the home stretch. Just a few more questions, and you'll have covered all of them. Ready?
Definitely. Let's keep going.
Great, let's start. Question 31. Who is the father of our country? A. George Washington. B. Thomas Jefferson. C. Abraham Lincoln.
I think the answer is A. George Washington.
Correct. George Washington is known as the father of our country. He led the Continental Army to victory during the American Revolution and later became the first president of the United States, setting many precedents for the future of the nation. Question 32. What is the name of the national anthem? A. America the Beautiful. B. The Star-Spangled Banner. C. God Bless America.
I think the answer is B. The Star-Spangled Banner.
Exactly. The Star-Spangled Banner is the national anthem of the United States. Written by Francis Scott Key in 1814, it was inspired by the sight of the American flag still flying over Fort McHenry after a fierce battle during the War of 1812. Question 33. Who is in charge of the executive branch? A. The President. B. The Vice President. C. The Supreme Court.
I think the answer is A. The President.
Correct. The President is the head of the executive branch, responsible for enforcing laws, overseeing the military, and representing the U.S. in foreign relations. Question 34. What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? A. The Electoral College. B. The Supreme Court. C. Checks and balances.
I think the answer is C. Checks and balances.
Exactly. The system of checks and balances ensures that no single branch of government, executive, legislative, or judicial, becomes too powerful. Each branch has some measure of influence over the others, helping maintain a balance of power. Question 35. What happened at the Constitutional Convention? A. The Bill of Rights was written. B. The Declaration of Independence was signed. C. The Constitution was written.
I think the answer is C. The Constitution was written.
Correct. The Constitutional Convention took place in 1787, where delegates from the states gathered to create the U.S. Constitution. The Constitution replaced the Articles of Confederation and established the framework for the government that we have today. Question 36. Why does the flag have 13 stripes? A, because there were 13 original colonies. B, to represent 13 states. C, to symbolize 13 amendments.
I think the answer is A, because there were 13 original colonies.
Exactly. The 13 stripes on the American flag represent the 13 original colonies that declared independence from Britain and formed the United States. Question 37. Who did the United States fight in World War II? A. Japan, Germany, and Italy. B. China and Russia. C. France and Spain.
I think the answer is A, Japan, Germany, and Italy.
Correct. During World War II, the United States fought against the Axis powers, which included Japan, Germany, and Italy. The war lasted from 1939 to 1945 and was a major turning point in global history. Question 38. Name two national U.S. holidays. A. Christmas and New Year's Day. B. Halloween and Easter. C. Thanksgiving and Labor Day.
I think the answer is A, Christmas and New Year's Day.
Correct. Christmas and New Year's Day are both national holidays in the United States. Christmas, celebrated on December 25th, honors the birth of Jesus Christ, while New Year's Day marks the beginning of the new year. Question 39. Before he was president, Dwight D. Eisenhower was a general. What war was he in? A. World War I. B. World War II. C. The Korean War.
I think the answer is B, World War II.
Exactly. Dwight D. Eisenhower was a 5-star general in World War II and served as the supreme Allied commander in Europe. His leadership during the war helped secure the Allied victory, and he later became the 34th President of the United States. Question 40. What major event happened on September 11, 2001? A. The end of the Vietnam War. B. Terrorists attacked the United States. C. The signing of the Civil Rights Act.
I think the answer is B, terrorists attacked the United States.
Correct. On September 11, 2001, terrorists hijacked 4 airplanes, crashing them into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. This tragic event led to significant changes in U.S. policies, including the War on Terror and the creation of the Department of Homeland Security. Question 41. What is one thing Benjamin Franklin is famous for? A. He was a U.S. diplomat. B. He was a general in the Civil War. C. He was the first president of the United States.
I think the answer is A, he was a U.S. diplomat.
Correct. Benjamin Franklin was a key diplomat for the United States, particularly in securing France's support during the American Revolution. He was also a scientist, inventor, and one of the founding fathers of the United States. Question 42. What is an amendment? A. It's a change to the Constitution. B. It's a law passed by Congress. C. It's a declaration of war.
I think the answer is A. It's a change to the Constitution.
Exactly. An amendment is a formal change or addition to the Constitution. The Bill of Rights, for example, consists of the first 10 amendments, which guarantee fundamental rights to all Americans. Question 43. How many U.S. senators are there? A. 50. B. 100. C. 435.
I think the answer is B. 100.
Correct. The U.S. Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state. Senators serve 6-year terms and are part of the legislative branch, where they work to create and pass federal laws. Question 44. What is the capital of the United States? A. New York City. B. Washington, D.C. C. Los Angeles.
I think the answer is B. Washington, D.C.
Correct. Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States. It is located on the East Coast along the Potomac River and is home to the White House, the U.S. Capitol, and the Supreme Court. Question 45. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers. A. John Jay. B. George Washington. C. Alexander Hamilton.
I think the answer is A. John Jay.
Correct. John Jay, along with James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, wrote the Federalist Papers, a series of essays that argued in favor of the U.S. Constitution and its adoption. Great job, Mark. You've made it through another set of questions. Keep practicing, and you'll be more than ready for your test.
Thanks, Anne. This is really helping me feel confident. Let's go over the next set soon.
Anne smiles, feeling proud of Mark's progress as they get ready to tackle the next part of the study session. 2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS, Part 4 to 100 Civics Questions, U.S. Geography. The next video will make sure you pass. Don't miss it. The afternoon sun is beginning to fade, casting a golden hue through the conference room windows. Mark has been steadily answering questions for hours, but there's still a bit of work left to do. Anne, noticing the slight exhaustion on his face, gives him a smile to reassure him. She knows he's almost through the toughest part.
Just a few more, Mark. We're nearing the finish line now. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Anne. I'm ready to tackle the last ones.
Let's dive right in. Here we go. Question 46. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? A. To print money. B. To establish schools. C. To issue driver's licenses.
I think the answer is A. To print money.
Correct. The federal government has the exclusive power to print money. This is essential for regulating the economy and ensuring a uniform currency across all states. The U.S. Treasury is responsible for issuing paper money, while the Federal Reserve oversees the country's monetary policy. Question 47. Who lived in America before the Europeans arrived? A. Native Americans. B. Vikings. C. Colonists.
I think the answer is A. Native Americans.
Exactly. Native Americans, also known as indigenous peoples, were the first inhabitants of North America. They lived in diverse cultures and societies long before the arrival of European settlers. Question 48. Who is the governor of your state? A. This answer depends on where you live. B. Ronald Reagan. C. Abraham Lincoln.
I think the answer is A. This answer depends on where you live.
Correct. Each state has its own governor, and the current governor depends on where you live. Governors serve as the chief executive officer of their respective states and play a critical role in state governance and policy making. Question 49. What is the name of the ocean on the west coast of the United States? A. The Atlantic Ocean. B. The Indian Ocean. C. The Pacific Ocean.
I think the answer is C. The Pacific Ocean.
That's right. The Pacific Ocean borders the west coast of the United States, stretching from Alaska in the north all the way down to California in the south. It is the largest and deepest ocean in the world. Question 50. How many amendments does the Constitution have? A. 27. B. 30. C. 33.
I think the answer is A. 27.
Exactly. The U.S. Constitution has 27 amendments. These amendments have changed and expanded the rights of U.S. citizens, including the Bill of Rights, which guarantees essential freedoms like speech and religion. Question 51. What ocean is on the east coast of the United States? A. The Pacific Ocean. B. The Atlantic Ocean. C. The Arctic Ocean.
I think the answer is B. The Atlantic Ocean.
Correct. The Atlantic Ocean lies along the eastern coastline of the United States, providing crucial trade routes and playing a significant role in the country's history of exploration and expansion. Question 52. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? A. The Pacific Ocean. B. The Atlantic Ocean. C. The Indian Ocean.
I think the answer is A. The Pacific Ocean.
Exactly. The Pacific Ocean borders the U.S. on the west coast. It is known for its vastness and its role in the U.S. economy, especially in terms of trade with countries across the Pacific. Question 53. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? A. 9. B. 7. C. 11.
I think the answer is A. 9.
Correct. The U.S. Supreme Court is made up of 9 justices, including 1 Chief Justice. They serve lifetime appointments and have the final say in interpreting the Constitution and hearing important legal cases. Question 54. We elect a U.S. representative for how many years? A. 4 years. B. 6 years. C. 2 years.
I think the answer is C. 2 years.
That's right. U.S. representatives serve 2-year terms in the House of Representatives. This gives them the opportunity to closely represent the interests of their districts and make frequent updates to laws. Question 55. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? A. July 4th, 1776. B. September 17th, 1787. C. December 25th, 1776.
I think the answer is A. July 4th, 1776.
Exactly. The Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1776, declaring the American colonies free from British rule. This day is now celebrated annually as Independence Day. Question 56. What movement tried to end racial discrimination? A. The Civil Rights Movement. B. The Abolitionist Movement. C. The Women's Suffrage Movement.
I think the answer is A. The Civil Rights Movement.
Correct. The Civil Rights Movement, primarily in the 1950s and 1960s, aimed to end racial segregation and discrimination. Led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr., it sought equal rights for African Americans and all marginalized groups. Question 57. What is one reason colonists came to America? A. Freedom. B. To find gold. C. To start wars.
I think the answer is A. Freedom.
Exactly. Many of the early colonists came to America in search of religious and political freedom. They wanted to escape persecution and find a place where they could freely practice their beliefs and ideas. Question 58. We elect a U.S. Senator for how many years? A. 4 years. B. 6 years. C. 2 years.
I think the answer is B. 6 years.
Correct. U.S. senators serve 6-year terms. This gives them a longer period to represent the interests of their states and helps provide stability in the legislative branch. Question 59. What does the President's Cabinet do? A. Advises the President. B. Enforces laws. C. Makes laws.
I think the answer is A. Advises the President.
Correct. The President's Cabinet is made up of the heads of the various federal departments. They provide advice and counsel to the President on key decisions affecting the nation. Question 60. Name one branch or part of the government. A. The President. B. The Judicial Branch. C. The Senate.
I think the answer is A. The President.
Exactly. The President is the head of the executive branch, which is responsible for enforcing laws and managing the administration of the federal government. The executive branch works alongside the legislative and judicial branches to ensure a balanced government. Great job, Mark. You finished another set of questions. You're getting closer to being fully prepared.
Thanks, Anne. I feel much more confident now. Let's keep going and wrap this up soon.
Anne smiles, proud of Mark's progress as they move on to the final stretch of questions. 2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS, Part 5 to 100 Civics Questions, Politics and Society. Stay with me. I have a special bonus question at the end. The evening is drawing closer, and the atmosphere in the conference room feels quieter. Mark, having answered question after question with focus, is now feeling the satisfaction of nearing the end of his study session. Anne, aware of how far they've come, smiles encouragingly as she flips to the next set of questions. She knows Mark is almost there.
You're doing great, Mark. Only a few more questions and we'll be done with this round. You're almost at the finish line.
I can feel it. Let's do this.
Here we go. Question 61. Where is the Statue of Liberty? A. In the New York Harbor. B. In Washington, D.C. C. In California.
I think the answer is A. In the New York Harbor.
Correct. The Statue of Liberty is located in New York Harbor. It was a gift from France to the United States in 1886 and has become a symbol of freedom and democracy. Question 62. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? A. John Roberts. B. Antonin Scalia. C. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I think the answer is A. John Roberts.
Exactly. John Roberts is currently the Chief Justice of the United States. He was appointed to the Supreme Court in 2005 and has served as Chief Justice since then, overseeing many landmark decisions. Question 63. What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now? A. Nancy Pelosi. B. Mike Johnson. C. Mitch McConnell.
I think the answer is B. Mike Johnson.
Correct. Mike Johnson is the current Speaker of the House of Representatives. He was elected to the role in 2023, overseeing the legislative process in the House of Representatives. Question 64. Name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. A. The Mississippi River. B. The Colorado River. C. The Hudson River.
I think the answer is A. The Mississippi River.
Exactly. The Mississippi River is one of the longest rivers in the United States, running through the central part of the country. It plays a vital role in transportation, trade, and ecology. Question 65. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. A. World War I. B. The Civil War. C. The Korean War.
I think the answer is B. World War II.
Correct. The United States fought in World War II from 1941 to 1945, joining the Allies to defeat the Axis powers. It was a pivotal conflict that shaped the global order in the 20th century. Question 66. Who is the Commander-in-Chief of the military? A. The Secretary of Defense. B. The President. C. The Chief Justice.
I think the answer is B. The President.
Exactly. The President of the United States is the Commander-in-Chief of the military, holding ultimate authority over the nation's armed forces, though military decisions are made in collaboration with military leaders. Question 67. What did the Declaration of Independence do? A. It ended the Revolutionary War. B. It announced our independence from Great Britain. C. It created the U.S. Constitution.
I think the answer is B. It announced our independence from Great Britain.
Correct. The Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4, 1776, declared that the American colonies were no longer under British rule. It formally separated the colonies from Great Britain and laid the groundwork for the creation of the United States. Question 68. When was the U.S. Constitution written? A. 1776. B. 1787. C. 1800.
I think the answer is B. 1787.
That's right. The U.S. Constitution was written in 1787 during the Constitutional Convention. It replaced the Articles of Confederation and established the framework for the government of the United States. Question 69. What is the economic system of the United States? A. Market economy. B. Socialist economy. C. Planned economy.
I think the answer is A. Market economy.
Correct. The United States operates under a market economy, which is based on supply and demand. Businesses and individuals make most of the economic decisions, and the government plays a role in regulating markets. Question 70. Who signs bills to become laws? A. The President. B. Congress. C. The Supreme Court.
I think the answer is A. The President.
Exactly. After Congress passes a bill, it is sent to the President for approval. If the President agrees, they sign it into law. The President can also veto a bill, sending it back to Congress. Question 71. What group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves? A. Africans. B. Native Americans. C. Europeans.
I think the answer is A. Africans.
Correct. Millions of Africans were forcibly taken to America as slaves from the 1600s to the 1800s. This tragic chapter in U.S. history had a profound impact on the country's development. Question 72. What is one responsibility that is only for United States citizens? A. To vote in a federal election. B. To pay taxes. C. To obey laws.
I think the answer is A. To vote in a federal election.
Exactly. Voting in federal elections is a responsibility reserved for U.S. citizens, while non-citizens can participate in some local elections. Only citizens can vote for the president and members of Congress. Question 73. Who is one of your state's U.S. senators? A. This answer depends on where you live. B. George Washington. C. Thomas Jefferson.
I think the answer is A. This answer depends on where you live.
Correct. Each state has 2 U.S. senators, and the names of these senators depend on the state in which you live. You can find your state's current senators by visiting the U.S. Senate's website. Question 74. The House of Representatives has how many voting members? A. 100. B. 435. C. 500.
I think the answer is B. 435.
Correct. The House of Representatives has 435 voting members. These representatives are elected by the people of their districts to serve 2-year terms and represent their interests in the legislative process. Question 75. Why does the flag have 50 stars? A. Because there are 50 states. B. Because there are 50 original colonies. C. Because there are 50 amendments.
I think the answer is A. Because there are 50 states.
Exactly. The 50 stars on the American flag represent the 50 states that make up the United States. The stars have been updated over time as new states have joined the Union. You've made it, Mark. This session is complete, and you're one step closer to being ready for your test.
Thanks, Anne. I feel so much more prepared now. Let's do the final review next.
Anne smiles proudly, knowing Mark is well on his way to passing the Civics test with flying colors. They're nearly done with the study session, but there's just one more push to go. 2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS, Part 6 to 100 Civics Questions, Tough Questions Explained. Keep watching. I'll share the best memorization trick at the end. The evening sky outside has deepened into a cool, dusky blue, and the room has grown quieter as Mark and Anne approach the final stretch. Mark feels the weight of the last set of questions, but his confidence has been building throughout the day. He knows he's almost there, and Anne, who has been guiding him every step of the way, smiles reassuringly.
All right, Mark, this is the final round of questions. You've come so far and you're almost done. Ready?
Absolutely, I'm ready. Let's finish this.
Great, here we go. Question 76. Name one U.S. territory. A. Puerto Rico. B. Greenland. C. Bermuda.
I think the answer is A. Puerto Rico.
Correct. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory located in the Caribbean. People born in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens, but Puerto Rico does not have voting representation in Congress, and its residents cannot vote in presidential elections. Question 77. How old must citizens be to vote for president? A. 16 and older. B. 18 and older. C. 21 and older.
I think the answer is B. 18 and older.
Exactly. U.S. citizens must be at least 18 years old to vote in federal elections, including the presidential election. This age requirement ensures that voters are of legal adulthood. Question 78. There were 13 original states. Name 3. A. New York, New Jersey, and New Hampshire. B. Texas, Florida, and California. C. Maine, Massachusetts, and Vermont.
I think the answer is A. New York, New Jersey, and New Hampshire.
Correct. These 3 were among the 13 original states that declared independence from Great Britain and formed the United States. The original 13 colonies were the foundation of the nation. Question 79. The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words? A. We the people. B. In God we trust. C. United we stand.
I think the answer is A. We the people.
Correct. The phrase, we the people, begins the preamble of the U.S. Constitution and reflects the idea of self-government, where the authority of the government comes from the people. Question 80. What is the highest court in the United States? A. The Supreme Court. B. The Court of Appeals. C. The District Court.
I think the answer is A. The Supreme Court.
Exactly. The Supreme Court is the highest judicial authority in the United States. It interprets the Constitution and makes final rulings on important legal matters. Question 81. When was the Constitution written? A. 1787. B. 1776. C. 1800.
I think the answer is A. 1787.
Correct. The U.S. Constitution was written in 1787 during the Constitutional Convention. It replaced the Articles of Confederation and created the framework for the federal government. Question 82. Name 1 state that borders Canada. A. New York. B. Florida. C. Texas.
I think the answer is A. New York.
Exactly. New York is one of the states that borders Canada. Other states that share a border with Canada include Maine, Michigan, and Alaska. Question 83. What is the name of the President of the United States now? A. Donald Trump. B. Joe Biden. C. George Bush.
I think the answer is A. Donald Trump.
Correct. Donald Trump is currently the President of the United States. He was re-elected in 2024 and took office again in 2025. Question 84. Name your U.S. representative. A. This answer depends on where you live. B. John Adams. C. Thomas Jefferson.
I think the answer is A. This answer depends on where you live.
Correct. Each district in the United States elects 1 representative to the U.S. House of Representatives. The name of your representative depends on where you live, and you can look them up on the official website. Question 85. Who was the first president? A. George Washington. B. Abraham Lincoln. C. Thomas Jefferson.
I think the answer is A. George Washington.
Exactly. George Washington was the first president of the United States, serving from 1789 to 1797. He is often called the father of the nation for his leadership during the American Revolution and his role in the founding of the new government. Question 86. Who does a U.S. Senator represent? A. The people of the state. B. The President. C. The Supreme Court.
I think the answer is A. The people of the state.
Correct. U.S. senators represent all the people of their state. They work to pass federal laws and ensure their state's interests are heard in the Senate. Question 87. What are the two major political parties in the United States? A. Democratic and Republican. B. Libertarian and Green. C. Whig and Progressive.
I think the answer is A. Democratic and Republican.
Exactly. The two major political parties in the U.S. are the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. These parties dominate U.S. politics and present different visions for the country's future. Question 88. Why did the colonists fight the British? A. Because of high taxes. B. Because of low wages. C. Because of limited trade.
I think the answer is A. Because of high taxes.
Correct. The colonists fought against the British due to high taxes and a lack of representation in the British government. The famous phrase, "no taxation without representation," reflects this grievance, which led to the American Revolution. Question 89. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? A. Alaska. B. Louisiana. C. Hawaii.
I think the answer is B. Louisiana.
Exactly. The United States bought the Louisiana Territory from France in 1803 for $15 million. This purchase doubled the size of the U.S. and opened up vast new lands for settlement and exploration. Question 90. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? A. Freedom of speech. B. Freedom to bear arms. C. Freedom from taxes.
I think the answer is A. Freedom of speech.
Correct. The First Amendment guarantees several basic freedoms, including the freedom of speech, the press, religion, and peaceful assembly. These freedoms are foundational to American democracy. You did it, Mark. That's the last set of questions. You've worked hard, and now you're even closer to being ready for your test.
Thanks so much, Anne. I feel confident and ready. I really appreciate all the help today.
Anne smiles, proud of Mark's hard work and dedication. With only a little more preparation left, Mark is set to ace his civics test. 2025 U.S. Citizenship Official USCIS, Part 7 to 100 Civics questions, Final 10 and bonus questions. Think you're prepared? Stay until the end and prove it. The day is winding down, but the energy in the conference room is still buzzing. Anne and Mark are wrapping up the last few questions. Mark can feel the excitement building inside him. He's almost at the finish line. He takes a deep breath, ready for the final push. Anne, equally enthusiastic, knows they've made excellent progress. Just a few more questions, and he'll be fully prepared.
All right, Mark, this is it, our final stretch. You've done an amazing job so far. Let's power through these last few questions and you'll be all set.
I can't believe we're almost done. Let's finish strong.
You've got this. Here we go. Question 91. Name one problem that led to the Civil War. A. Slavery. B. Economic inequality. C. Religious differences.
I think the answer is A. Slavery.
Exactly. Slavery was a key issue that led to the Civil War. The conflict between the North, which opposed slavery, and the South, which supported it, ultimately led to the Civil War, which began in 1861. Question 92. What does the Constitution do? A. Sets up the government. B. Establishes laws for the military. C. Defines the roles of political parties.
I think the answer is A. Sets up the government.
Correct. The Constitution establishes the framework for the U.S. government, outlining the powers of the federal government and protecting the rights of the people. It is the foundational document of U.S. democracy. Question 93. In what month do we vote for president? A. November. B. December. C. October.
I think the answer is A. November.
Correct. U.S. presidential elections are held on the first Tuesday of November every 4 years. This month is when citizens go to the polls to vote for their president and vice president. Question 94. What is the capital of your state? A. This answer depends on where you live. B. Washington, D.C. C. New York City.
I think the answer is A. This answer depends on where you live.
Exactly. Each state has its own capital. The name of the capital depends on which state you live in, and you can find it by looking up your state's official government website. Question 95. What was one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did? A. He freed the slaves, which is called the Emancipation Proclamation. B. He started the Revolutionary War. C. He invented the cotton gin.
I think the answer is A. He freed the slaves, which is called the Emancipation Proclamation.
Correct. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 declared that all slaves in Confederate states were to be set free, which was a key turning point in the Civil War and in the fight for human rights. Question 96. What is the rule of law? A. Everyone must follow the law. B. Only the government must follow the law. C. Only citizens must follow the law.
I think the answer is A. Everyone must follow the law.
Exactly. The rule of law means that laws apply to all people, including government leaders. No one is above the law, and everyone is accountable to it. Question 97. During the Cold War, what was the main concern of the United States? A. Communism. B. Nuclear war. C. Economic crisis.
I think the answer is A. Communism.
Correct. During the Cold War, the United States was primarily concerned with the spread of communism, particularly in Eastern Europe, Asia, and Latin America. This led to a global struggle between capitalist and communist ideologies. Question 98. What are two rights of everyone living in the United States? A. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion. B. The right to own property and the right to bear arms. C. The right to vote and the right to run for office.
I think the answer is A. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
Correct. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion are both protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, ensuring that all individuals can express themselves and practice their faith without interference from the government. Question 99. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? A. The Speaker of the House. B. The Secretary of State. C. The Chief Justice.
I think the answer is A. The Speaker of the House.
Exactly. If both the president and vice president can no longer serve, the Speaker of the House of Representatives is next in line to become president, followed by the president pro tempore of the Senate and the cabinet members. Question 100. What did Susan B. Anthony do? A. She fought for women's rights. B. She was the first woman president. C. She wrote the Constitution.
I think the answer is A. She fought for women's rights.
Correct. Susan B. Anthony was a key figure in the women's suffrage movement, fighting for women's right to vote. Her efforts, along with those of other activists, led to the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. Question 101. What is the name of the U.S. national anthem? A. America the Beautiful. B. The Star-Spangled Banner. C. God Bless America.
I think the answer is B. The Star-Spangled Banner.
Correct. The Star-Spangled Banner is the national anthem of the United States. It was written by Francis Scott Key in 1814 and became the official anthem in 1931. Question 102. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? A. The Bill of Rights. B. The Federalist Papers. C. The Preamble.
I think the answer is A. The Bill of Rights.
Exactly. The Bill of Rights is made up of the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution and guarantees fundamental rights such as freedom of speech, the right to a fair trial, and the protection from cruel and unusual punishment. Question 103. What year did the United States declare independence from Great Britain? A. 1776. B. 1787. C. 1791.
I think the answer is A. 1776.
Correct. The Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1776, and officially declared the American colonies free from British rule. Question 104. What is the name of the U.S. holiday that celebrates independence from Great Britain? A. Labor Day. B. Thanksgiving. C. Independence Day.
I think the answer is C. Independence Day.
Exactly. Independence Day, celebrated on July 4th, commemorates the adoption of the Declaration of Independence and the birth of the United States as an independent nation. Question 105. What is the national motto of the United States? A. In God we trust. B. Liberty and justice for all. C. E pluribus unum.
I think the answer is A. In God we trust.
Correct. In God we trust is the national motto of the United States. It was adopted in 1956 and appears on U.S. currency. You did it, Mark. You've completed all 100 questions plus some extra ones. You're officially ready for your test.
Thank you so much, Anne. I couldn't have done it without your help. I feel confident and prepared.
Anne smiles, proud of Mark's dedication and hard work. They both know that Mark is now fully prepared to tackle his U.S. citizenship test.